Hi, thank you for choosing this video to watch. As you see behind me, I like to try to play and make my own electronic instruments. And everything I know I have learned solely by watching other people do on the internet. One of the people I've been watching lately is named Juanito Moore, and he makes his own instruments and plays them. He has videos of his performances on his homemade synthesizer that, if you were curious, you should click this little card up in the corner of your screen so that you can go see a video of his. It's an amazing setup. He creates them in little tin cans, and so it is really something that every person can make with the simplest of tools. So it's very inspirational, and I wanted to try that myself. So this video, you'll see, is my attempts at doing that. Here's a tin I can put some synths in. See how big it is in proportion to my hand? I can put some nice big knobs on there, and my big fat fingers won't get in the way. But first I have to take the fried herring out. So let's do that together. But first, I wanted to show you something as I was inspecting it. See how there's an embossed section right here on the top, and something big enough, just big enough for a label. So this is obviously made for a variety of products. Here's some interesting embossing here too. Maybe a label goes there too that's made to be pulled off. And over here, see these little indents? I think that's, I don't know, maybe that's made for, like, obviously this indent is made so that you could pull this up. But why are these indents here? I don't know. So the last interesting part of it is this right here. Some kind of code. It says 3831. You probably can't read it. Well, maybe you can. It's right there. So there's a mystery code printed on there. Oh, and this code says that it's good for a full year. So I'm good, but I'm going to eat it right now. So let's open this up. Whoop. Didn't quite work the way they planned it, did they? There we go. Well, that certainly is a fish. Yep, that's a fish. And it's swimming in sauce. Maybe that doesn't look appetizing to you, but I can assure you I've eaten this before and it's delicious. But here, wait, let me show you what it looks like when I prepare it. There, that looks better. I'm going to eat this off camera like Big Clive. Crunchy. And this is good. No cooking necessary. It smells fishy, but it also smells like it's been marinated. It's really tasty. So, okay. There's the tin. I'll finish off the rest of this fish, and then I'll put a synth in it. Oh, and if you plan to get a tin of fish to put your synth in, I have a tip for you. Actually, I have two tips. Tip one is get yourself this herring fillet in horseradish sauce. It's a smaller tin. I'm not suggesting you put a synth in it. I just suggest you eat it because it's delicious. And look, this one's got the same sort of embossing on there. 3 little things. Interesting. So, tip 1, and then tip 2 is get yourself some of this odor remover stuff. Any brand, obviously. And that will just remove all the fishy smell out of your tin, so you will be fish free while you synth. Just leave it in there for a while. Okay. Right, here's the freshly cleaned tin. I'm going to go ahead and drill the holes and assemble my drum. I'm going to do it a bit differently than Juanito did, obviously, in his video, but that's the best part about doing it yourself. You can use the tools that you're most comfortable with. So, first off, this sharp little edge here needs to come off. So I'm just going to actually pausing to put on the gloves. That way I don't hurt myself. This is one of my favorite tools. It's a nut cracker, but I use it for everything else but cracking nuts. Look at this. I'm going to use this, which is something similar to what he has, to mark my holes. There was one other aspect I wanted to show about designing this and actually executing it. These are his designs, and he graciously created a little map that we can follow exactly with a picture of each component, and you just pop them in. It's the best way I can think of to do a DIY electronics project. I really love this idea. And as you can see, there are 2 different designs. The only difference is that they use different transistors, so it just depends on which transistors you happen to have on hand. I've tried both designs and they both work. You can also see that I'm using flimsy paper, and he suggests to use some heavy paper so you can poke through it and it'd be rigid. But I've tried that and it just wasn't rigid enough. So fortunately, I had already ordered, pull this back a little more. I'd ordered this Mylar polycarbonate acrylic material for a project, and they wouldn't sell me just one online. Obviously, they had to sell me a whole stack of them from Side R. I had always read that as Side R. Anyway, That's who sold it to me, and I love it. This is exactly what I wanted for my project, but I've been only trimming away little pieces. I'll show you some examples of what I used it for. This is a new case I'm building for my modular system, and I just needed something to dress up this power button. This is a creation I haven't made a video for yet, and I will. You're getting a sneak peek. But look, see? That looks really cool. It's a speaker. But for this project, what I decided to do was just glue this to one side and this to the other. But I wanted to make sure that they lined up. So, you do want your holes to line up exactly. So that hole lines up there. This side is separated from that side because it's the ground plane, basically. And these are all the wires you feed through and attach to the back of the components that need to be grounded. So that's what I'm going to do right here. And I'm going to use E6000. It's my favorite adhesive. And then I use these. These have been in my house since I moved in. I don't know whose they were before, but they're over 30 years old. But they cut Mylar just right. Okay, so all that's left to do is to create holes, and obviously I'm not poking, I'm drilling because it's polycarbonate. But you'll see when I flip it over that I just about got them aligned correctly. So this is what it looks like before, that's what it looks like after. Actually, it should look neater than that, but I wasn't very neat. And I did a mystery bodge here that I won't reveal because it's embarrassing. But yeah, that's what it is. So next I'll assemble it and play it.